It's round two after the restart in the Bundesliga, and it's another win for Borussia Dortmund. Away on the day, and no goals in that 2-0 win over Wolfsburg from that man, Erling Haaland. Perhaps he's saving himself for the big game on Tuesday. Shaka Hislop joining me now on ESPN FC. And Shaka, before we do get into the game, just have to mention that it's been confirmed that Mario Götze will be leaving at the end of the season. Many wondering if we might see him in MLS. Would you like to see that?
I don't see why not. You know, I still feel that Götze will have a lot to suit us in European football, though MLS would also be a good fit. A league on the up. We're talking about a player who scored in the World Cup final. I think there's huge value to that in the US market as well. I think Götze will have no shortage of suitors, and he's earned the right to decide where he goes from here.
So let's get into that game then that we just saw. Wolfsburg against Borussia Dortmund. Goal scorers, Rafael Guerreiro for another week. That's 3-2 for him. And then we saw Achraf Hakimi with an assist from that man again, Jadon Sancho. I think that's 16 assists on the season for him. What do you make of him as a young English player going to the Bundesliga and setting that standard for other young players?
I think he's been simply outstanding. The bigger question for Jadon Sancho really is why has he been utilised or as sparingly as he has since the restart? I thought Borussia Dortmund looked totally transformed once he came on. Guerreiro was the only real playmaker, so much was going through him. But then with Sancho coming on, it gave them that different focus, and I thought that's when Borussia Dortmund looked their best during the course of the game. But to your question, Kay, Jadon Sancho is a talent like few English football has seen. Comfortable with the ball at his feet, running and engaging defenders, and fully aware of everything around him. Probably the latest English talent I can think with that skill set was going back to Paul Gascoigne. And I know that's a huge ask. I know that's big shoes to fill. But I think Jadon Sancho can do that, and he's showing that.
Mats Hummels coming off in this one injured. It seems to be a foot injury, and the hope is that he will be available for that game against Bayern on Tuesday. But it's always got to be a concern when a player of that quality and that experience does come out of a game injured.
Yeah, it does. And obviously, given Mats Hummels' own history with Bayern Munich and some of me, well, it's tough to say Borussia Dortmund's own defensive struggles because they've coped very well since the league's restarted, albeit against lesser opposition than Bayern Munich. But you want to have that stability, and Hummels brings that. You want to have that experience. Again, Hummels ticks that box for Borussia Dortmund as well. This is a must-win game for Borussia Dortmund. Let's make no mistake about it. And you want everything to be going your way. And as much as results have gone their way over the last couple of weeks, you want your key players involved. Hummels is that, even though we could discuss his long-term future and viability for Dortmund. But right now, he's key to any successes.
Erling Haaland, few chances for him. Didn't get his goal on the day. Is he saving himself for Tuesday?
That's what all Dortmund fans would be hoping. Listen, Haaland, every time he crosses that white line, he's there to score goals. Is the only thing he knows. He's not going to score every week. That doesn't matter. But as you mentioned, Kay, Tuesdays is the one where I'm sure he'll be happy to not score today and grab a brace on Tuesday.
A lot of talk about him being your old-fashioned centre forward. As a goalkeeper, how do you deal with players like him?
Listen, Haaland is, he is unique in what he does. His size, his strength, his pace. But as a goalkeeper, I think the biggest challenge is how quickly he hits the ball with very little backlift and how cleanly he hits it. Whenever he puts his foot on the ball, you know it's going to be something special. And as a goalkeeper, you have to find your position a whole lot sooner than you would ordinarily. And you have to be prepared for whatever is going to come because he doesn't miss hit.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.